The morning sun pierced through the mist as Daniel walked across the temple courtyard. His heart raced, though silence surrounded him. Master Hiroshi stood still, his gaze sharp as a blade. Daniel said, "Why does the silence feel so heavy today?" Master Hiroshi whispered, "Because truth waits in silence." Suddenly, Hiroshi raised his voice, shaking Daniel's world. "You have lost your path." Daniel froze, his breath caught, his chest tightened. The words cut deeper than any wound. Brother Kenji watched from the side, his calm presence contrasting Daniel's trembling. Daniel whispered, "How can I be lost when I search every day?" Hiroshi replied, "You search with eyes, not with soul." The courtyard echoed with the weight of truth. Daniel felt his spirit collapse under the weight of those words. His journey had just been broken open. The courtyard held silence like a weight, pressing down on Daniel's chest. His breath rattled as he stared at the ground. Brother Kenji said softly, "Silence is not empty, Daniel. It is full of truth." Daniel turned his gaze toward him, desperate for comfort. Yet Kenji's calm face mirrored nothing but peace. Daniel whispered, "But why does truth hurt so much?" Kenji replied, "Because it strips away what you cling to." The air grew colder, the stillness heavy. Daniel's mind fought against itself, the words of Master Hiroshi still echoing. He clenched his jaw and muttered, "Then I fear I will never find peace." Kenji only smiled gently. Daniel's legs shook as he sat on the cold stone steps. He buried his face in his hands, shadows stretching behind him. Master Hiroshi approached slowly, his footsteps deliberate. Daniel whispered, "Master, I gave everything, yet I remain empty." Master Hiroshi said, "You cannot fill a cup that clings to its cracks." Daniel lifted his eyes, confusion painted across his face. The master's calm voice cut through him, sharp yet soft. "Suffering blooms from the grip of your own hands," Hiroshi continued. Daniel's breath faltered, his body trembling with the weight of truth. The wind whispered through the pines. The distant temple bell rang once, deep and resonant. Daniel flinched, the sound echoing through his bones. He whispered, "Even the bell feels like judgment." Master Hiroshi's gaze held steady as he replied, "It is not judgment, it is reminder." Daniel looked up at the sky, clouds drifting slowly. Brother Kenji remained silent, watching with eyes that reflected still water. Daniel said, "Then why does every sound feel heavy?" Hiroshi answered, "Because you listen with fear, not with freedom." Daniel clenched his teeth, but tears welled in his eyes. The world seemed both vast and suffocating. The silence returned heavier than before. Daniel's chest rose and fell, his breath uneven. He muttered, "I fear I have already failed." Master Hiroshi's tone was unwavering. "Failure is only when you stop walking." Daniel looked into his teacher's eyes, searching for softness. There was none, only truth. Brother Kenji shifted, his calm stillness like stone. The leaves rustled, carried by a soft wind across the courtyard. Daniel felt a storm within himself, yet the world outside remained still. He whispered, "Then perhaps the storm is the path." Hiroshi's eyes narrowed, and a faint nod followed. The evening sun stretched long shadows across the temple hall as Daniel sat alone, his hands gripping his knees tightly. His chest felt hollow, and his eyes stared into the floor. Daniel whispered, "Why does the silence feel like a prison?" Brother Kenji entered quietly, his calm steps echoing softly. Brother Kenji said, "It is only a prison when you fear being alone." Daniel turned his head, desperation burning in his eyes. His voice cracked as he asked, "Then what am I without all this searching?" The hall darkened slowly as twilight wrapped around him. Brother Kenji's stillness offered no easy answers, only reflection. Daniel's voice trembled as he leaned against a wooden pillar, his body heavy. He whispered, "Every breath feels empty, like sand slipping away." Master Hiroshi appeared in the doorway, his staff striking the floor with measured force. Master Hiroshi said, "Emptiness is not your enemy, it is your mirror." Daniel lifted his face, confusion etched deep, his breath uneven. "Then why does it crush me?" he asked, his tone breaking. Master Hiroshi's voice carried softly, "Because you resist its silence." The temple seemed vast, swallowing his words in its quiet air. Daniel's spirit quivered, unable to find balance. Later, Daniel walked through the temple garden, the gravel crunching beneath his unsteady steps. The koi pond reflected moonlight, shimmering like fleeting thoughts. Daniel muttered, "I try to hold on, but everything slips away." Brother Kenji followed at a distance, his hands folded. Brother Kenji said, "Because nothing was meant to be held." Daniel paused, his reflection fractured by rippling water. His heart sank lower, his body trembling with exhaustion. He whispered, "Then what is left for me?" The night carried his words into the still air. Brother Kenji's silence pressed heavier than words. Daniel returned to his quarters, the dim candlelight flickering against cracked walls. He sank to the floor, his chest heavy with despair. He muttered, "Every meditation feels hollow, every word feels distant." The candle flame trembled in the draught. Master Hiroshi entered slowly, his shadow cast long against the wall. Master Hiroshi said, "Hollowness is the space where truth waits." Daniel lifted his head, eyes red and swollen. "But truth feels like absence," he whispered. Hiroshi's gaze remained steady. "Absence is not nothing, it is freedom without weight," he said. Daniel's tears spilled quietly, dripping onto the wooden floor. The temple bell tolled again, deep and heavy in the night. Daniel stepped outside, the cold air biting his skin. His heart trembled with the sound. He whispered, "I am breaking apart." Brother Kenji appeared beside him, his posture calm. Brother Kenji said, "Breaking apart is the beginning of becoming whole." Daniel closed his eyes, the wind cutting across his face. His tears mixed with the night air. He muttered, "I cannot carry this much longer." Brother Kenji's gentle tone followed, "Then do not carry it. Let it go." The night sky stretched vast, holding Daniel's silence. The temple courtyard glistened with rain. Daniel's knees pressed into the wet stone as he struggled to steady his breath. Master Hiroshi stood over him, expression firm, eyes unshaken. Master Hiroshi said, "You must sit until the storm inside you breaks." Daniel's body trembled, his robe soaked, his teeth clenched as he gasped, "It feels impossible." The rain poured harder, masking his tears. Master Hiroshi remained unmoved, his staff planted firmly beside him. Brother Kenji watched silently from the covered walkway, his hands folded in calm prayer. Daniel's voice cracked again, "How can I endure this?" Hiroshi replied, "By not enduring, but by letting go." Night fell heavy, the storm raging outside as Daniel sat cross-legged in the meditation hall. His body stiffened, his breath shallow, his mind consumed by racing thoughts. He muttered, "Every silence screams at me." Master Hiroshi lit a lantern, its flame flickering against wooden beams. Master Hiroshi said, "Then listen beyond the scream." Daniel opened his eyes wide, his face pale in the lantern glow. "I hear only my failure," he whispered. Hiroshi's voice cut sharp yet steady. "Failure is the teacher you resist." Daniel's fists clenched tight, his body aching with resistance. The silence felt unbearable. The next morning, Daniel carried buckets of water up the temple stairs, his legs weak, body shaking with exhaustion. Brother Kenji walked beside him, calm and steady. Daniel muttered, "Why must every task break me?" Brother Kenji replied softly, "Because only what breaks can be rebuilt stronger." Daniel stumbled, water spilling over his robe. His face burned with shame as he whispered, "I cannot do this." Brother Kenji looked at him with patience, his voice even, "Then do it without trying to be perfect." Daniel froze, the words echoing deeper than he wished to admit. Daniel sat alone by the koi pond, the morning mist drifting across the water. His reflection blurred with each ripple. He muttered, "The more I try, the more I fail." Master Hiroshi approached his steps slow and deliberate. Master Hiroshi said, "Failure is the crack where light enters." Daniel clenched his jaw, his fists pressed against his knees. But the cracks are all I see, he whispered. Hiroshi's tone grew firmer. Then stop seeing cracks and begin to see light. The pond shimmered under sunlight, its surface disturbed by a falling leaf. Daniel's breath faltered. That evening, Daniel knelt in the meditation hall, sweat dripping down his face, though the air was cool. His heart pounded as he whispered, "Every breath is a battle." Brother Kenji sat across from him, unmoving. Brother Kenji said, "Battles exist only when you fight." Daniel's shoulders trembled, his chest heaving with uneven breaths. He muttered, "I cannot stop fighting." Kenji closed his eyes, his voice calm, then watch the battle until it ends itself. Daniel's eyes welled with tears, his mind twisting with doubt and yearning. The candle between them flickered wildly, throwing long shadows across the hall. The temple garden shimmered under dawn's silver light as Daniel walked slowly, his steps dragging. His chest ached with every breath, his thoughts loud as thunder. Daniel whispered, "Why does everything slip away the moment I hold it?" Master Hiroshi stood near the cherry tree, his eyes steady, his tone unshaken. Master Hiroshi said, "Because nothing was ever yours to hold." Daniel froze, his breath faltering, his heart collapsing into silence. His lips trembled as he muttered, "Then why do I suffer so deeply?" Hiroshi's gaze pierced him. "Because you suffer the illusion of control," he replied firmly. Daniel sank to the ground near the tree roots, his hands gripping the soil, as if anchoring himself. He whispered, "Then all my effort has been nothing." Master Hiroshi leaned slightly on his staff, his tone quiet but sharp. "Master Hiroshi said, nothing becomes everything when you release the need to own it." Daniel's shoulders shook, his body trembling as the truth cut through his pride. His eyes filled with tears as he asked, "So I was never broken?" Hiroshi's voice carried steady, "You were never broken, only blinded by perfection." The wind carried falling blossoms across the garden. The koi pond rippled as Daniel stared at his reflection, broken by every wave. His voice cracked, "I spent years chasing what I could never grasp." Brother Kenji stood quietly beside him, his expression serene. Brother Kenji said, "Peace was never somewhere to chase. It was always here." Daniel pressed his palms to his knees, his head lowering. "Then all this striving was only blindness," he whispered. Kenji placed his hand gently on Daniel's shoulder. "Blindness clears when eyes rest, not when they struggle to see," Kenji said softly. The reflection glowed with sunlight breaking through clouds. That night, Daniel dreamed of shadows in the temple hall. The figure of his younger self appeared, trembling, eyes full of fear. Daniel whispered into the dream, "Why do you haunt me?" The shadow voice echoed, "Because you never forgave yourself." Daniel's chest tightened as he reached out, his fingers shaking. The shadow dissolved into smoke, vanishing into candlelight. Daniel woke with a gasp, sweat clinging to his skin. His body shook as he whispered, "It was always me I ran from." The hall stood silent, the truth burning in his heart. The following morning, Daniel stood once more before Master Hiroshi, the rising sun casting golden light across the courtyard. His voice quivered, "All this time, my pain was not from failure, but from clinging to perfection." Master Hiroshi's eyes narrowed with quiet approval. Master Hiroshi said, "When you see this, the chains break." Daniel's breath slowed, his body lighter, though his eyes still wet. Brother Kenji watched from afar, a gentle smile softening his calm face. Daniel whispered, "Then freedom is here, not beyond me." Hiroshi's tone grew softer. "At last you begin to see." The meditation hall was dim, candles flickering faintly as Daniel collapsed to his knees. His chest heaved, his breath ragged, sweat dripping from his brow. Daniel cried, "I have nothing left, nothing to give." His fists pounded against the floor, the echo filling the empty room. Master Hiroshi entered slowly, his staff tapping softly against wood. Master Hiroshi said, "Only when nothing remains can truth arrive." Daniel's face twisted with despair, his tears falling freely. He whispered, "Then let it all be gone." His body slumped forward, surrendering to exhaustion. The silence pressed in, heavy and complete. Daniel's body trembled on the cold floor, his voice weak, his will crumbling. He whispered, "Even my strength betrays me." Master Hiroshi moved closer, his shadow stretching across Daniel. Master Hiroshi said, "Strength binds you, weakness frees you." Daniel lifted his face slowly, eyes swollen with tears. He muttered, "Then I surrender it all." The hall grew still, the candlelight flickering as if holding its breath. Daniel pressed his forehead to the wooden floor, his heart finally releasing its grip. Master Hiroshi's eyes softened, his silence deeper than words. The moment bent like a bowstring ready to break. The silence broke only by Daniel's sobs, his chest emptying with each exhale. His voice cracked, "I no longer know who I am." Master Hiroshi knelt beside him, resting one hand gently on the floor. Master Hiroshi said, "Then you are closer than ever." Daniel's eyes widened, his tears still flowing, his breath slowing. He whispered, "I see nothing, yet I feel everything." The room seemed to expand, the walls dissolving in his vision. Hiroshi's voice carried low, "In nothing, you meet yourself." Daniel's shoulders shook once more, then stilled, his body sinking into calm. The air shifted, as if the entire hall breathed with him. Daniel lifted his head, his eyes glowing with a faint clarity. He whispered, "I am not lost. I was never lost." His chest rose steady now, his body lighter than before. Master Hiroshi watched silently, a faint nod in his expression. Brother Kenji entered quietly, his steps soft on the wooden floor. Brother Kenji said at last, "Your storm rests." Daniel looked at him, tears still on his face, but a calm smile breaking through. The candle flames steadied, their glow warm and unwavering. The courtyard opened to the night sky, stars glowing above the temple roof. Daniel stepped out barefoot, the cold stone firm beneath him. His breath came slow, his eyes reflecting starlight. He whispered, "Peace was always here." Master Hiroshi stood at the gate, his presence quiet, his gaze steady. Brother Kenji knelt near the lantern, his hands folded, his eyes calm. The wind rustled gently through the trees, no longer heavy, but free. Daniel's heart opened to the vastness around him. He bowed low, his voice steady, "Thank you for breaking me open." The night held his words tenderly. The morning sun painted the temple grounds in soft gold, as Daniel walked slowly across the courtyard. His steps were lighter, his breath steady, his face calm. Brother Kenji greeted him with a bow. Brother Kenji said, "You carry yourself differently now." Daniel smiled faintly, his voice quiet. "The storm has passed, though the wind remains." Master Hiroshi watched from the steps, his eyes narrowed with approval. Master Hiroshi said, "Peace is not silence, it is harmony." Daniel bowed deeply, his heart steady for the first time. Courtyard leaves rustled gently, no longer a burden but a song. Daniel sat beneath the cherry tree, its blossoms drifting softly into his lap. His hands rested open on his knees, his eyes half closed in ease. Brother Kenji joined him, their silence flowing easily together. Daniel whispered, "The weight no longer crushes me." Brother Kenji's calm tone carried, "Because you have stopped lifting it." Daniel breathed deeply, the air cool, the blossoms falling without demand. The world no longer pressed against him, but flowed through him. His lips curved into a soft smile. For the first time, he felt whole, not by striving, but by surrender. Later, Daniel walked by the koi pond, the rippling water reflecting clouds above. His voice carried softly, "I no longer fear what comes." Master Hiroshi stood nearby, his staff planted firmly. Master Hiroshi said, "Fear fades when you stop running." Daniel leaned down, touching the water with his fingers, watching the ripples spread. He whispered, "The water does not resist, yet it moves with everything." Hiroshi nodded faintly, his tone steady, "So must you." Daniel's reflection wavered, not broken but whole. The breeze brushed the surface, and Daniel smiled, his heart steady in rhythm with the pond. In the meditation hall, Daniel sat cross-legged with Brother Kenji beside him, both breathing in steady rhythm. The candle between them glowed evenly, no longer flickering wildly. Daniel whispered, "Silence no longer frightens me." Brother Kenji said gently, "Because you have become silence itself." Daniel's eyes glistened, his body upright, his hands steady. The air was calm, the weight gone. His thoughts passed like clouds without chains. He bowed toward Brother Kenji, his voice steady. "Thank you for walking beside me." Kenji's serene smile deepened, his hands folding. The hall stood timeless, filled with stillness and light. As dusk settled, Daniel walked along the temple path, lanterns flickering softly. Master Hiroshi stood at the gate, his presence like the mountain itself. Daniel bowed deeply, his voice steady. "You taught me to lose everything, so I could find peace." Master Hiroshi said, "You did not lose. You discovered what was always here." Brother Kenji lit another lantern, his gentle face glowing. Daniel lifted his head, the stars beginning to pierce the sky. His voice quiet but sure, "Then the path is no longer a search. It is simply walking." The night embraced them in stillness. The dawn sky stretched in hues of rose and gold as Daniel stood at the temple gate, his breath calm, his eyes steady. He whispered, "Every step is no longer a burden, but a gift." Master Hiroshi walked beside him, leaning gently on his staff. Master Hiroshi said, "The path you feared was never outside of you." Daniel bowed deeply, his hands pressed to the cold stone. Brother Kenji stood a short distance away, his serene smile reflecting quiet pride. The wind rustled through the cherry blossoms, scattering petals at Daniel's feet like a gentle blessing. Later, Daniel walked through the temple garden where dew glistened on the grass. His steps were slow, his heart light. He whispered, "Every leaf, every stone, feels alive." Brother Kenji joined him, their silence merging like streams. Brother Kenji said, "When the mind rests, the world awakens." Daniel paused near the koi pond, his reflection whole at last. He smiled faintly and whispered, "The search has ended because there was nothing to find." The garden echoed with birdsong, its music soft and unforced. The morning unfolded as if bowing in quiet agreement. The meditation hall stood open, its wooden beams glowing with sunlight. Daniel sat cross-legged, his posture upright, his hands resting lightly on his knees. Master Hiroshi sat across from him, silence passing between them like a river. Daniel whispered, "I no longer fear silence." Master Hiroshi replied softly, "Because silence has become your companion." Their stillness deepened, the candle flames steady, the air clear. For a long moment, nothing moved, yet everything lived. Daniel's eyes softened, and his breath flowed like calm waters. He bowed slowly toward his teacher, the bond unspoken yet unbreakable. As evening fell, Daniel sat beneath the cherry tree, petals falling gently around him. Brother Kenji sat nearby, his calm face turned upward to the fading sky. Daniel whispered, "The past no longer binds me." Brother Kenji said, "Because you have embraced it." Daniel closed his eyes, the wind brushing softly against his face. His breath steady, his heart quiet, he whispered, "Peace is not found. Peace is lived." The silence of the temple grounds was full, not empty, carrying the weight of eternity in its stillness. The blossoms swirled and settled like a final bow. That night, Daniel climbed the stone steps leading to the temple's highest point. The stars glittered across the vast sky, the wind cool and free. He whispered, "I am not lost. I am here." Master Hiroshi stood silently behind him, his eyes steady as the night itself. Brother Kenji remained near the lantern below, his presence calm as stone. Daniel lifted his face toward the stars, his heart steady, his breath one with the night. In the stillness, nothing was missing, nothing was broken. The path had ended, only to become endless again.